I'm going to go now to more breaking news related to the tropics. NOAA holding a press conference releasing its hurricane season forecast. Let's
a
listen
below
in.
normal season for 2026, with roughly a 55% chance of being below normal, a 35% chance of near normal, and a 10% chance of above normal. This equates to 8 to 14 named storms with winds at or above 39 miles an hour. Of these, 3 to 6 hurricanes with winds at or above 74 miles an hour, and 1 to 3 major hurricanes, that's your category 3 to 5, with winds at or above 111 miles an hour. In the central and eastern Pacific, we're expecting a 70% chance of above normal activity. The eastern Pacific, we're expecting 15 to 22 named storms, 9 to 14 hurricanes, 5 to 9 major hurricanes. And in the central Pacific, we're expecting 5 to 13 tropical cyclones. These percentages are based on multiple factors that represent a probabilistic distribution, which includes a lot of information. But even though we're expecting a below average season in the Atlantic, it's very important to understand that it only takes one. We have had Category 5s make landfall in the past during below average seasons. What's driving this forecast is largely an El Nino event. There's a 98% chance of El Nino conditions occurring later this season, and an 80% chance that this El Nino will be moderate to strong. In the Atlantic, the El Nino increases the vertical wind shear, which disrupts the outflow at higher levels. It makes it harder for development of the eastern waves coming off of Africa to strengthen into storms. However, in the central and eastern Pacific, the El Nino reduces the vertical wind shear, essentially the opposite of the Atlantic, which is why we're expecting above average season in addition to the warmer sea surface temperatures there. We have several new observing systems that we're bringing online this year. As you heard about earlier, we have uncrewed aircraft systems. We tested these over the last couple of years with Black Swift drones used operationally this year for the first time in the HAFS model. The tests that we ran in the experiments last year showed that inclusion of this data from these drones increased the intensity forecast accuracy by roughly 10%. We also have uncrewed surface vehicles and submersible gliders. In addition to the observing systems, we're doing a lot of work on the modeling front. We're introducing an AI-based version of the GFS, as well as an AI global ensemble forecast system, the hybrid GEFS. We also have a new AI-based hurricane forecast model that we've developed in partnership with Google DeepMind, which we used experimentally in last year's hurricane season. There are also advances in the physics-based models. The Unified Forecast System has been testing an experimental high-resolution seasonal forecast system. We also have the Office of Water Prediction, which will be rolling out high-resolution flood inundation mapping, which couples to the hydrological forecast. This provides the emergency managers visualization of predicted inundation at the street and neighborhood level. The Hurricane Center has some new communication products.
All right, you are listening to NOAA holding a news conference. They're releasing its very latest forecast when it comes to the hurricane season just around the corner. I want to bring in meteorologist Nikki Sheeks, an expert in this. Okay, what are the key takeaways from what we just heard?
Well, you know, we always love to hear that they are calling for a below average season. And it wasn't too surprising about that because that's what CSU called for a couple months ago. And that's what we've really been seeing with the forecast because, like they said, we are going to be seeing an El Nino develop, which basically hinders storm development or causes a lot of disorganization if a storm does try to develop because there is a lot of shear in the Atlantic basin, which isn't good for storms developing. So we did know about the El Nino, so that could hinder storm development. But on the other end of the spectrum, we also have these warm sea surface temperatures, which could be fighting against that. So that's why they're not completely saying it is going to be definitely far below average. As you can could see those numbers still range pretty close to that average. But another takeaway that they did point out, it just takes one storm.
And we know that all too well
really
here in
doesn't
South
matter.
Florida. Absolutely. Talked about some unmanned aircraft and some other vehicles that they're going to use to assess storms. Our very own Chris Martinez, Chief Certified Chris Martinez, he's actually in Lakeland. He's going to have much more of the analysis and announcement ahead at noon. Perhaps he'll touch on some of the newest technology that they were talking about. Nikki, thank you so much. We appreciate your analysis of that.